In this video, I will be explaining and ranking different methods companies can use to monetize free-to-play games. Regardless of platform, any number of these methods can be found in externally monetized games. I will be focusing on 5 different methods and grading them in 3 separate categories. For this, I have created my own rating system, cutely named the Pi rating system. The Pi rating system's 3 scales are that of profit, integration, and ethics. Profit measures the raw ability for a system to take money from its players. Integration relates to the ability for it to be seamless in the game. Ergo, are you able to play the game without spending money? Ethics is focused on how the company takes advantage of their players or their community as a whole. Each different method will be ranked 1 through 5 on each of these scales, and then averaged for tiering. Now that we understand the Pi system, let's learn a little bit about free-to-play games. Free-to-play games are a higher risk method of making money, in that they have no way of guaranteeing revenue from each individual player. As a balance to this, the non-existent barrier to entry allows the game to reach a larger audience, and the number of potential customers increases. Free-to-play games subscribe to this financial model. A fraction of players will end up spending money on any given game, so by increasing the total amount of players who play the free game, they simultaneously increase the amount of paying players. The ways that games go about getting money from their paying players varies, but the strategy is the same in essence. With all this said, let's move on to reviewing and ranking the 5 different methods. Our first method is that of a free trial. A free trial is the most simple business model when it comes to monetizing a free-to-play game. The player is offered a sample of gameplay and then asked whether they would like to purchase the full experience. In terms of ethics, I rated this one highest of all. There is no attempt made to play off of a level of addiction, nor are there any tricks being pulled on the player. One downside of this is that the revenue that the company can make from any given player is capped at the price of the game. There is no variability in terms of spending. A casual player and a superfan will spend the same amount of money to buy a copy of the game. The other disadvantage is that of integration. Games that follow a free trial formula are not truly free to play, as only a small section of their game is available to non-paying players. Examples of this could be found during the early 2010s on Apple's App Store. A nearly uncountable number of paid apps had a light version, offering a sample of gameplay before prompting the player to pay for the full-featured game, available separately in a different app. The free trial model receives a 2 in profit, a 1 in integration, and a 5 in ethics, with an average Pi score of 2.6. The second category is that of quality of life. Quality of life improvements are the most common method of monetization we see in today's games. These microtransactions are aimed at making the game more convenient to enjoy for the player, be it via removal of intrusive advertisements or the purchase of in-game currencies that can be used to skip or speed up more tedious moments of gameplay. Gems and skips are the most common examples of this. In terms of profitability, quality of life solves a problem that doesn't quite exist. For this reason, you are largely able to ignore the microtransactions and play the game. Quality of life only makes money from those that thoroughly enjoy their game, milking these players at a slower rate than other monetization methods. The quality of life model receives a 2 in profit, a 3 in integration, and a 4 in ethics, with an average Pi score of 3.0. Our next method is pay to win. Commonly regarded as the most short-sighted method of monetization, pay to win offers objective advantages to those willing to pay for them. This invalidates any way for non-paying players to be in the picture when it comes to multiplayer. Pay to win games create a gap between their player base and a have versus have-nots situation is formed because of it. It is nearly impossible to play the game without caving in and spending money, and those who refuse to do so will forever be at a disadvantage. The saving grace of this method is its profitability. If the game is able to hook its players with good gameplay, they will be forced to spend money on it in order to remain competitive. All the company needs to do is to continue to release stronger content, and they will have a huge amount of income. Because of this, it receives a 5 in profit and a 1 in both integration and ethics, with an average pi score of 2.3. Our fourth category is cosmetic. Cosmetic upgrades are purely that, cosmetic. This business practice revolves around giving players the opportunity to customize how they look to others, all for a price. There are no advantages or disadvantages to having these cosmetic elements, and for this reason, it is the single most integration-friendly method of monetization. If a player wants to buy special skins for their character or weapons, they can, but nothing is forcing them. Of course, due to the fact that playing the game freely is of no disadvantage, it is also the least traditionally profitable method. It relies on having a massive player base and a community willing to give back to the developers of the game. This leaves it in a funny spot, receiving a 1 in profit, a 5 in integration, and a 4 in ethics, with an average pi score of 3.3. Our final category is that of gambling. Of course, gambling needs no introduction. It is timeless, charging a small sum to a player so that they may have a chance at being returned a larger sum. However, modern games have been able to skirt this definition by giving players in-game goods instead of real-world currency. Because of this proxy, they are legally able to offer gambling options to an underage audience. The inclusion of crate openings and loot boxes is often bundled with a cosmetic method of monetization, but a very large differentiation must be made here. With cosmetics, you can simply choose and purchase your desired item. With gambling, you must play the odds, and more often than not, you will spend more money to get the item you wish than if you were able to directly purchase it. My personal gripe with gambling lies not in its addictive properties, but in the fact that video game companies are able to hook children on it. It is every bit as scummy as the pay-to-win method, while still being less profitable, as there is no way to force the player to participate. For these reasons, it receives a 4 in profit and a 1 in both integration and ethics, with an average score of 2.0. With our 5 methods separately ranked, now it is a good time to compare them. With these bar graphs, we can see that in terms of profitability, pay to win is the strongest, with cosmetic being the weakest. In terms of integration, cosmetic is the strongest, while free trial, pay to win, and gambling are tied for last place. With ethics, free trial reigns supreme, with pay to win and gambling sharing last place. And when we look at our average score, cosmetic takes first place, quality of life takes second place, free trial takes third, pay to win is fourth, and gambling comes fifth. Hopefully this video helped you understand the different ways that free-to-play games can monetize themselves. Thank you for watching.